Part 5. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 41. At this moment, in Suyang Manor, all the secret guards were standing ready, vigilantly exploring the surroundings. For the Su family, tonight is a big disaster, and everyone is extremely nervous. All the major families in Jiangbei are waiting to see the Su family's jokes, and some even intend to replace them. In the study, Su Shenbing sat on the chair, his face as sinking as water, and his expression was very ugly. There were two people next to him, one of whom was the deputy captain of the secret guard. The other man was thin and in his 40s. He looked somewhat similar to Wang Fugui. He was Wang Baoquan, Mr. Wang's father. At this moment, Wang Baoquan said, "Sushui, don't be too anxious. Isn't it just a peak of energy? Forget it, this is just a small storm for the Su family." Su Shenbing glanced at Wang Baoquan and asked, "Wang Baoquan, so many families in Jiangbei are alienating the Su family, but you sent someone to help me. Aren't you afraid of being implicated?" "I'm afraid of Wu, Sushui, I was once your adjutant, and we share Will and Wu." Wang Baoquan said impassionedly, "Even if I die today, I will die in front of you. You kid, you usually only know how to flatter me, but you don't lose your temper at critical moments. I really saw you right." Su Shenbing showed a wry smile, "It's just that the Su family may really be in trouble this time." "Sushui, don't be depressed. Didn't you notify Kyoto?" "There will be reinforcements," Wang Baoquan said with relief. "Kingto? There are people there who wish for the Su family to be destroyed." Su Shenbing smiled and shook his head, and then said, "Also, Wang Baoquan, I was no longer Sushui 5 years ago. Don't call me that again in the future." "Yes," Wang Baoquan agreed seriously. "The Su family, I hope we can escape this disaster." Su Shenbing sighed again, then closed his eyes slightly, intending to lead the Su family's secret guards to fight against the Smiling Buddha at his peak state. The other side. The Smiling Buddha had arrived at the 9-gate black market and shouted angrily, "Su Xiantian, come out and die." Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, everyone looked over. "The Smiling Buddha is here. Ha ha, Su Xiantian has been waiting for him for a long time, now there is something good to watch." It was said last time that Su Xiantian cut off the ears of the Smiling Buddha, but I still don't quite believe it. Su Xiantian looks only in his 20s, how can he be the opponent of the Smiling Buddha? It is said that Su Xiantian succeeded in a sneak attack. The Smiling Buddha was so angry that he kept looking for Su Xiantian to avenge his ear cutting. Many ancient warriors in the black market knew about the grudge between Su Xiantian and the Smiling Buddha, so they gathered around to watch the excitement. At this time, Su Yang walked out from the crowd, looked at the Smiling Buddha playfully, and smiled softly, "Hey, senior, why are you so angry?" "Su Xiantian." The Smiling Buddha glared at Su Yang, gritted his teeth and said, "You know what you are asking, why are you pretending? I will kill you tonight to vent the hatred in my heart." "Ha ha, senior, you are a bit unreasonable." Su Yang smiled and said, 2 days ago, you tricked me out to steal my money. I just fought back and accidentally cut off your ear. I didn't mean it. Why do you hate me so much?" "Accidentally." The Smiling Buddha said angrily, "Humph, Su Xiantian, no matter how you explain today, I will not spare your life." "Senior, why are you like this? Can't we reconcile? In fact, I respect you very much." Su Yang said seriously, "My admiration for you is like a surging river, endless, and like. It's like the Yellow River flooding, it's out of control, right?" the Smiling Buddha said first. "Fuck." Su Yang said in surprise, "Senior, how did you know I was going to say this? We are indeed destined and have a good understanding." "Fuck you." The Smiling Buddha couldn't help it anymore, he swore directly and said angrily, Su Xiantian, I won't make the same mistake twice, I won't do this anymore. Oh well. Seeing that the smiling Buddha was furious, Su Yang had the idea of ridicule in his heart, so he said, Senior, I really admire you very much. Before you do anything, can you agree to my request? Haha, kid, you know that you will die tonight, so you want to leave a last message. Upon hearing this, the smiling Buddha first sneered, and then said magnanimously, Okay, the smiling Buddha, am a person with a big plan. If you have any requests, please tell me. Then I really said it? You can just say what you say. Where does all this nonsense come from? The smiling Buddha said impatiently. Okay. Su Yang's eyes fell on the smiling Buddha, blinked his eyes, and said innocently, Senior, I have never married a wife in my life, and I have never been a father. You can call me daddy, and I will do it father's dream. As soon as these words came out, the ancient warriors who were watching were dumbfounded. After a pause for a few seconds, everyone burst into laughter. I thought Su Xiantian was asking for mercy, but I didn't expect him to be so stubborn. Haha, can you call me dad? I'm laughing so hard. Talent, this Su Xiantian is awesome, but I'm afraid he will die miserably. Su Xiantian. The smiling Buddha reacted, with a face like pig liver, and said angrily, You dare to play tricks on me, you are seeking death. After the words fell, the smiling Buddha lost his mind, mobilized all his energy, and took action suddenly. You're the one I've been waiting for. Su Yang's eyes flashed, and he quickly kneaded the formula with his hands, and a water ball gradually took shape. At the same time, Su Yang exuded terrifying power, crushing all directions. The weaker ancient warriors around him could not even stand firmly under Su Yang's momentum. This, the true energy transforms into the 5 elements, he is the master of martial arts. How is it possible? Looking at the ancient martial arts world, there is no such a young martial arts master. It's too scary. Although I can't believe it, there is no doubt that he is the master. The smiling Buddha also noticed Su Yang's aura, and his expression suddenly changed. Is this kid a genuine martial arts master? With this thought in his mind, the smiling Buddha felt unsure and turned around to escape, but unfortunately it was too late. Boom! Su Yang threw out the water balloon and quickly hit the smiling Buddha on the chest, causing a muffled sound to be heard from the scene. The next moment, the smiling Buddha's body flew upside down. After landing on the ground, he opened his mouth and spat out a pool of blood. His face was extremely pale. At this time, his breath was very weak, vague, his eyes widened, and he clutched his chest and said intermittently, I act all my life, I am cautious, never thought that I would offend a master, I was wronged. As soon as he finished speaking, the smiling Buddha closed his eyes and completely lost his life. I call you senior and joke with you because I want to get along with you like an ordinary person, but you insist on forcing me, why bother? Su Yang shook his head helplessly and turned to leave the Jimin black market. Everyone at the scene made way for Su Yang, and they were both in awe and fear of Su Yang. Wait a minute, Mr. Su, no fighting is allowed in the Jimin black market, let alone killing. Something like this happened today. You must follow us back to Jimin and give an explanation to the people above at this time, the 2 guards insisted. The scalp blocks the road. Explain. Su Yang stopped, stared at the 2 guards, and said coldly, I, Su Xiantian, have done everything in my life, why do I need to explain to anyone? Get out of the way, or die. The 2 guards witnessed Su Yang killing the smiling Buddha with their own eyes. How dare they stop him? They hurriedly avoided it and allowed Su Yang to leave. After Su Yang left, the Jimin black market was in full swing. The news that the mysterious master Su Xiantian had killed the smiling Buddha with one move quickly spread throughout Jiangbei. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 42. The Smiling Buddha has been practicing for 60 years. It is said that he has already reached the peak of his energy. It is unbelievable that he would die at the hands of a young man in his 20s. I heard that the young man named Sushientian can turn qi into water. This is an ability that only martial arts masters have. Such a young martial arts master is shocking. I don't know which sect is hiding this young talent. The Smiling Buddha was going to destroy the Su family tonight, but he died unexpectedly. The Su family got a big deal. Sushientian, Su family, do you think there is any connection between the two? Impossible, it must be just a coincidence. The Smiling Buddha had an affair with Sushientian a few days ago. When the news came out, it not only shocked Jiangbei, but also caused quite a stir in the ancient martial arts world. Of course, the one who will benefit the most from the death of the Smiling Buddha is the Su family. At this time, Su family manor. Su Shenbing had already received the news that the Smiling Buddha had been killed, and he clapped his hands on the table excitedly. Ha ha! God help our Su family! Su Shenbing's joy was beyond words, and he said excitedly, I thought it would be a tough battle tonight, but I didn't expect the matter to be resolved so easily. Su Xiantian, you are really the savior of our Su family, ha ha. Su Shenbing was excited and ordered, Guo Yi, remove all the trap guards outside. From now on, the Su family will return to normal. Yes. Guo Yi was the deputy captain of the secret guard. He respectfully agreed and walked out of the study. Shui Su, you are really wise, powerful, talented, and amazingly talented. Wang Baoquan felt relieved at the mention, and then he remembered his special skills and flattered him with a pious face. He is a professional at flattering, and this skill has been passed down from generation to generation and has become the corporate culture of the Wang family. Hearing this, Su Shenbing glanced at Wang Baoquan and said, the death of the Smiling Buddha in Susua nation's hands, what does it have to do with me? It must have something to do with you. That Sushientian definitely knows your name, so he will help you solve the problem. The fate of the Smiling Buddha is equivalent to surrendering his name. Sushientian must want to join the Su family, Wang Baoquan said seriously. Fuck you, stop filming. When Su Shenbing heard this, he said with a dark face, it is rumored that Sushientian has become a grandmaster. Such a young grandmaster is no match for me. Why did he defect to the Su family? It's so unrealistic to flatter him. If you are not embarrassed, I will be embarrassed for you. Wang Baoquan sneered twice, then stood aside and stopped talking. Sushientian, he has the same surname as me. Maybe it was the same family 500 years ago. At this moment, Su Shenbing said with awe on his face, a martial arts master in his 20s, what a terrifying talent he is, so unattainable. It would be great if I had the chance to meet him, but it's a pity that a powerful and aloof man like him will not meet me, Su Shenbing murmured. Master, the eldest young master is back. At this moment, Guo Yi walked in and said. Su Yang. Su Shenbing came back to his senses and said disdainfully, this little brat came back just in time. He went home as soon as the Su family's crisis was over. Now that Su Jinghan, that white-eyed wolf, can't be found, I have raised him in vain for so many years. In the future, the Su family will still have to rely on Su Yang to take over. It seems that going to the National Blade for training will be put on the agenda. With this in his mind, Su Shenbing said calmly, Guo Yi, let Su Yang come in. I have something to say to him. Yes. Guo Yi took the order, turned around and walked out of the study, and soon Su Yang walked in. Dad, Su Yang greeted. Su Shenbing nodded, then pointed to Wang Fugui next to him and said, Su Yang, this is Wang Fugui's father Wang Baoquan. Something happened to the Su family. He is the only one who came to help regardless of life and death. Call Uncle Wang quickly. No, No, young Master Su, we talked on the phone before, just call me by my name. Wang Baoquan was flattered, and then said with a smile, what can I do to help? I just come here to stop. Uncle Wang, it's easy to add icing on the cake, but it's difficult to provide help when the time is right. Su Yang looked at Wang Baoquan and said seriously, today you helped the Su family and you deserve to be called uncle. From now on, the Wang family will be the best friends of the Su family. Young Master Su. Wang Baoquan was moved, and said with snot and tears, these two words of yours moved me. As expected of Su Shui's son, he speaks so beautifully, it's like brainwashing. It makes me want to do it right now. I will shed my blood for the Su family. Well, Su Shui, don't you have something to say to young Master Su? I'll leave first. Wang Baoquan said while wiping his tears. Go away, you are crying, what the hell, I want to drink with you when I have time, Su Shenbing said cursingly. Okay. Young Master Su, go back and take good care of my family's wealth. You have so many advantages. You shine brightly even when you stand still. If my family's wealth were half as rich as yours, I would laugh out of my dreams. Before leaving, Wang Baoquan let out another rainbow fart. After he left, Su Yang and Su Shenbing were the only two people left in the study. Su Yang, why are you back now? Did you hear something? Su Shenbing asked. Wind? What kind of wind? Su Yang asked doubtfully. Not long ago, the smiling Buddha was killed by a mysterious master. Now the crisis in the Su family has been resolved. Don't you know? I don't know. Su Yang shook his head. Then how dare you come back alone? Su Shenbing frowned and asked, then thought of a possibility, and said in surprise, don't you want to be a coward, so you ran back to the Su family and planned to live and die with the Su family? What the hell? Su Yang looked at Su Shenbing like an idiot and explained, Dad, I just think it takes a lot of money to run away. I'm almost out of money in my card, so I want to come to Su's house to ask you for some money. I was afraid that Xiaoting would disagree, so I avoided him and sneaked out. Dad, the Su family is about to be destroyed anyway, why don't you transfer more money to my card, 1 to 8 billion at a time, and I'll spend it slowly, Su Yang said pretending to be dandy. Fuck. Why is the Su family going to be destroyed? The Su family is fine now. Su Shenbing had a dark face and gritted his teeth and said, you unfilial son, get out of here right now, I don't want to see you. Dad, don't be angry, just pretend that I didn't say no. Su Yang smiled softly and was about to leave the study, but Su Shenbing shouted, you bastard, come back here. Dad, don't you want to see me? Why? Shut up, I almost made you angry. Su Shenbing looked at Su Yang coldly, suppressed the anger in his heart, and then gritted his teeth and said, do you still remember the national sword I mentioned to you last time? I will send you in 1 week later, you are ready to go, get ready to report. Su Yang suddenly cried and resisted, Dad, I don't want to go. I have to go even if I don't want to. I have made up my mind and no one can stop me. Su Shenbing hated the iron and said, Su Yang, they say that a tiger father has no dog son. You, me, and I are also considered figures. We were famous in Kyoto back then, but you can't do anything, and you are the #1 consumer in the club name. You are still in your 20s, and someone can kill a master of the level of the smiling Buddha, but you are not even qualified to carry his shoes. The more Su Shenbing talked, the angrier he became, and he said impatiently, Gangan, I'm going to get angry just looking at you. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 43. A master at the level of killing the smiling Buddha? Su Yang smiled and left his father's room after saying goodbye without explaining anything. Although he has now stepped onto the second level of Qi training, he can kill ancient warriors in the realm of energy transformation with just a raise of his hand. But Su Yang has never seen a real martial arts master, and he doesn't know whether he is stronger or weaker than the master. In addition, the person who wants to attack the Su family behind the scenes is probably a martial arts master. So Su Yang didn't want to alert the enemy yet. The purpose of Immortal Emperor Xiantian was 4 words: hold steady and don't let the waves wander. Back in the room, Su Yang sat cross-legged and entered a state of cultivation. Now only cultivation can make him feel calm. After Su Yang left, Su Shenbing also left the study and told Mr. Su what happened tonight. At this time, underground secret room. An old man with white hair, holding the moon in his hands, sat on a futon. His hair and beard are all white, and his face is full of wrinkles, but his neat short hair looks very energetic. Especially his eyes, although they are cloudy, they are full of light and seem to be able to see through people at a glance. The short-haired old man is none other than Su Yang's grandfather, Su Qinqin. At this moment, after listening to Su Shenbing's story, Su Qinqin was very surprised. You said that a young master appeared in Jiangbei and killed the smiling Buddha with one move. Exactly. Su Shenbing nodded and said, Father, the young grandmaster's name is Su Xiantian. I have never met him, but from other people's descriptions, he is at most in his early 20s, and he has a strange face. He has never appeared in the Jimen black market before. Such a young grandmaster is as talented as a demon. Su Qinqin smiled bitterly and said, it is said that talented people have emerged from generation to generation, and each has led the way for hundreds of years. I was not convinced before, but now it seems that I am not convinced. When I was in my 20s, I was just a young man who had just come into contact with ancient martial arts, but he had already stepped into a realm that countless people could not reach in this life. Father, you came into contact with ancient martial arts relatively late. You are a late bloomer, so there is no need to underestimate yourself, Su Shenbing said with relief. Su Qinqin nodded lightly, and then said coldly, it's easier for the smiling Buddha to let him die, otherwise I will cut him into pieces tonight. How can I let him die so easily if he dares to have evil thoughts about the Su family? Su Qinqin's voice was particularly cold. When Su Shenbing heard this, he was immediately surprised and said, Father, has your injury recovered? No. Su Qinqin shook his head and said, even if divine Dr. Hua's 9-turn rejuvenation needle is miraculous, it won't be able to heal me in a few days. My injuries have barely recovered to 60%. However, even so, it is still not difficult to kill the smiling Buddha. It only takes raising a hand, Su Qinqin said confidently. Father, why didn't you tell me earlier? You made me worry in vain, Su Shenbing complained. Are you blaming me, you loser? Su Qinqin stared at Su Shenbing and said sternly, I usually ask you to practice hard, but you refuse to listen. When you encounter a problem, you rely on me to solve it. I am already over 70 years old, how long can I take care of the Su family? Father, I have practiced a lot, but I can only reach this point, Su Shenbing said with a bitter smile. So you are a waste. Su Qinqin scolded Su Shenbing as if he were lecturing his son. No, he was actually lecturing his son. How is Su Yang doing lately? At this time, Su Qinqin said calmly. Su Shenbing replied, that loser is still the same as before. He doesn't want to make progress, doesn't do his job properly, and doesn't learn or have any skills. In Su Qinqin's eyes, Su Shenbing was a waste. In Su Shenbing's eyes, Su Yang was trash. It's the Su family's traditional culture that emotions can hurt the next generation. Why? Su Qinqin couldn't help but shook his head and said, originally, I thought you were a loser. You only reached Huajin at the age of 30. But I didn't expect that my grandson would be even more rubbish. He hasn't even touched ancient martial arts in his 20s. Simply, I have a granddaughter who is gifted by nature. She started Hwajin at the age of 18, reached the peak of Hwajin at the age of 20, and became a half-step master at the age of 25. Mentioning Su Jingguo, Sukinkan said proudly, if this continues, Jingguo will be able to become a true master before the age of 30. No one in Jiangbei can match such a talent. Father, what you said is too full. Su Xiantian, the young man who killed the smiling Buddha, has already become a master. Su Shenbing interrupted. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as mute. Sukinkan rolled his eyes at Su Shenbing. Su Shenbing lowered his head knowingly and said no more. Anyway, that Su Xiantian helped the Su family solve a problem, so the Su family owes him a favor. Sukinkan paused, and then asked, Shenbing, have you found out his origin? I want to meet him for a while. No, Su Xiantian seems to have appeared suddenly. No one in Jiangbei knows who he is or where he comes from. Su Shenbing responded, it's just that he has been to the Jimen black market twice. Some people said that he wanted to buy energy stones. Father, if you want to see him, maybe you can try your luck at the Jimen black market. Well, I understand. Sukinkan nodded and said, if nothing happens, you can go out. I need to rest. Father, I want to talk to you about Su Yang. Su Shenbing said. Su Yang? What's wrong with him? Su Yang has become more and more arrogant recently, and you also know about Su Jinghan. Now the future of the Su family depends entirely on Su Yang. Su Shenbing continued, so I want to send him to the National Blade to train, maybe he can become a talent. Well, just follow the arrangements. It's time to make that trash suffer. Sukinkan agreed. Father, it's like this. Su Yang seems to be very resistant. I'm afraid he'll call a woman. Su Shenbing smiled bitterly and said, you know, I am most afraid of the heroine. If the heroine feels sorry for Su Yang and stops her. Don't worry, let me handle the matter. She won't interfere in this matter. Sukinkan continued, I suddenly thought, I haven't seen Su Yang for more than half a year, right? Yes, you said you were upset when you saw him. Su Shenbing said. Hey, they are all blood relatives, how can a grandfather really bother his grandson? Sukinkan sighed and said, half a year is neither long nor short. Father, are you missing Su Yang? Su Shenbing smiled softly and said, that's right. They say that we are related across generations. You must love Su Yang more than I do. So, Father, I will ask Su Yang to come over and say good morning to you tomorrow. No. Unnecessary. Sukinkan was very repulsive and said seriously, what I want to say is, I haven't seen Su Yang in the past 6 months. I feel so comfortable. If you don't let him come to see me, I don't want to see that garbage, so as not to affect my mood. Well. Su Shenbing was stunned for a moment, a little confused, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he realized what he was doing. Originally, he thought that Sukinkan missed Su Yang, but after a long time of thinking, his father just lamented that he felt relieved after not seeing Su Yang for half a year. Son, I called you a waste, called you a little brat, and you felt uncomfortable, and you still competed with me. But your grandpa doesn't even want to see you, which shows how much he annoys you. In this comparison, I think you are pretty good. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 44. Sukinkan only has one grandson, Su Yang. In fact, he doesn't hate Su Yang as much as he appears on the surface, he just hates that iron cannot be transformed into steel. In the past 6 months, although Sukinkan did not let Su Yang come to see him, he had sneaked out more than once and secretly looked at Su Yang. However, every time Sukinkan looked at Su Yang was either at a high-end club or on the way to a high-end club. This made him very angry and wanted to break Su Yang's legs. But there was nothing he could do. After all, he was his own grandson, so he could only let the other party do whatever he wanted. Sukyankan had long thought of sending Su Yang to train, but he didn't find a chance to bring it up. So when Su Shenbing opened his mouth, he decisively agreed. After Su Shenbing left the underground secret room, Sukyankan couldn't help but sigh. Su Yang, the Su family will eventually be handed over to you. Don't let grandpa down. My grandpa came into contact with ancient martial arts at the age of 20. He has made rapid progress since then, and has become a master of martial arts on the battlefield. I hope that Kuyan can train you to become the true successor of the Su family. At this moment, a dark corner in Jiangbei. Damn it, I let Su Yang save his life again. The embarrassed Su Jinghan, with scarlet eyes, gritted his teeth and said, "Damn smiling Buddha, why don't you destroy the Su family first, kill Su Yang, and then go to the Jimen black market to give away his head?" 2 days ago, after escaping from Su Yang, Su Jinghan did not leave Jiangbei, but colluded with the smiling Buddha. He hated Su Yang so much that he would betray the Su family in order to kill Su Yang. The smiling Buddha promised Su Jinghan that after the Su family was destroyed, he would take care of the Su family's assets and the two of them would make money together. As for the strength of the smiling Buddha, Su Jinghan knew very well that he could definitely sweep the Su family. But who knows, the mysterious master Su Xiantian suddenly appears and kills the smiling Buddha, which Su Jinghan did not expect. It seems that I can't stay in Jiangbei any longer. 30 years to Hedong and 30 to Hexi. Su Yang, when I set foot on this land again, I will use your blood to wash away the hatred in my heart. The Su family must belong to me, Su Jinghan. Su Jinghan's eyes were filled with resentment, and his expression was ferocious and terrifying. Just then, his cell phone rang. After taking a look at the caller ID, Su Jinghan frowned slightly, then raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth and chose to answer the call. Su Jinghan, where have you been these past 2 days? Why did you suddenly disappear? What happened in Jade Finger Wonderland 2 days ago? Where did the Black Dragon go? A questioning voice came from the other side of the phone. Master Nalan, I have been exposed. As for Black Dragon, he is dead, Su Jinghan said calmly. Exposed? The young man on the other end of the phone scolded in a deep voice, Huh, Su Jinghan, I told you that there was no need to go to Jade Finger Wonderland, but you didn't listen and wanted to kill Su Yang yourself. Something happened now, did you? You didn't confess me? No, I escaped at the critical moment and have been avoiding the Su family's secret guards for the past 2 days. That's okay, but how could the plan fail? Who killed the Black Dragon? Hearing this question, Su Jinghan smiled softly, and then said, Master Nalan, He Long was too careless and died in Xiaoting's hands. Although I haven't revealed who you are, the Su family will definitely investigate. You'd better find an opportunity to get rid of Su Yang and stop being timid. Su Jinghan narrowed his eyes slightly and then said, I heard that you are also a master of ancient martial arts and have reached the late stage of Huajin. You can kill Su Yang by yourself. Su Yang is just a helpless waste. He is definitely no match for you. After killing Su Yang, don't forget to call me back to make me happy. Okay, no more words. I will take a boat to escape from Jiangbei tonight. I hope we still have a chance to cooperate. After saying that, Su Jinghan put away his mobile phone and pushed the gold-rimmed glasses frame with extremely gloomy eyes. Haha, bitch, don't think I don't know, you've been using me. I suffered a loss at the hands of Su Yang, and you can't even think about it. As soon as the words fell, Su Jinghan's figure disappeared in the darkness. At the same time, the manor of the Nalan family. A young man with a handsome face slowly put down his mobile phone, his eyes calm. His facial features are very handsome, but his face is relatively pale, a little more feminine, and unpredictable. Is Su Yang, a little playboy, so difficult to deal with? The feminine young man murmured. Next to him, A burly middle-aged man said, "Third young master, as long as you open your mouth, I will kill Su Yang tonight." The mellow young man is none other than Nalan Mingj, the third son of the Nalan family. Nalan Mingj is gentle and elegant, humble and courteous to others, and his business talent is even more terrible. At a young age, he has taken over more than half of the Nalan family's industry. He has an excellent reputation in Jiangbei and is called the number one son in Jiangbei. Need not. At this time, Nalan Ming shook his head and said, "The Su family is not easy to mess with. Unless it is absolutely necessary, the Nalan family had better not take action directly." The burly man said disdainfully, "Third young master, a smiling Buddha can make everyone in the Su family panic. In my opinion, the Su family is nothing more than that. What are you afraid of? The Su family has Sujingguo at the bottom, and Sukyankan at the top. Sujingguo is far away in the border area, which is okay, but Sukyankan is in charge of the Su family manor." Nalan Mingj said with deep taboos, "That man is the god of the Su family. As long as he is still alive, the Nalan family cannot attack the Su family. If they want to kill Su Yang, they can only borrow the hands of outsiders." Understood. The burly man nodded, and continued, "This black dragon is so troublesome that even Xiaoting can't solve it. If I are allowed to go, Su Yang will die that night. Third young master, if this happens next time, if it's a matter, just send me there. Well, let's put aside the matter of killing Su Yang for now." Nalan Mingj changed his tone and said, "However, I really need you to kill someone now." The burly man said excitedly, "Who to kill?" "Sujing Han." "Sujing Han? Isn't he your partner? Don't ask questions that you shouldn't ask." Nalan Mingj's eyes turned cold and he said coldly, "Go ahead." "Yes." The burly man broke out in a cold sweat, responded hurriedly, and then left the scene. "Sujing Han, don't blame me for being cruel. You know too many things about me. Only by killing you can I feel at ease." "Ahem." Nalan Mingj smiled softly, then coughed a few times, and a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. He skillfully took out the handkerchief, wiped off the blood stains around his mouth, and said calmly, "The coughing has become more and more frequent recently. Tomorrow is the time to explore Hua Qingdai's mouth." Nalan Mingj was ill and had congenital asthma, which had been with him for many years. Originally, the disease was incurable, but he learned that Hua Shimiao had an ancestral elixir that could cure him. But that elixir was very important to Hua Shimiao and regarded it as life. Nalan Mingj once offered a sky-high price to buy it, but Hua Shimiao did not agree. So Nalan Mingj changed his target and has been in contact with Hua Qingdai recently, planning to use Hua Qingdai to find out the whereabouts of the elixir, so that he can return to normal by then. With this in mind, Nalan Mingj dialed Hua Qingdai's phone number and said with a gentle smile, "Miss Qingdai, are you free at noon tomorrow? I would like to treat you to dinner." Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 45. The next morning, Su Yang was still practicing in the room, but was interrupted by a rapid ringing of his cell phone. The caller ID showed Li Feixuan. Su Yang swiped to answer, then smiled softly and said, "Honey, why did you remember to call me? Do you miss me?" "Su Yang, I've heard everything about last night. It was so thrilling." Fortunately, a mysterious master solved the smiling Buddha. Li Feixuan said, "Haha, wife, you called me just to talk about this." Su Yang smiled and said, "I thought you were going to ask me to book a room together." "Open house." Li Feixuan on the other side of the phone said with a dark face and a slight blush on her pretty face, "Su Yang, stop being such a talker. Come to school today, otherwise I'm worried that you will be expelled. I heard that teacher Qingdai has been very bad these days." Light. "Honey, are you at school?" Su Yang smiled and said, "If you are here, I will go there. If you are not here, I won't go." "Well, I'm not like you who skipped class on the first day of school. I'm a good student, Li Feixuan said with a blushing face. As for you, whether love comes or not has nothing to do with me. After saying that, Li Feixuan hung up the phone shyly, as if there was a deer bumping around in her heart. I've been skipping classes for many days. It's time to go to school. Also, I wonder how Hua Shimiao is asking about my grandfather. Does he know who wants to destroy the Su family? With this in his mind, Su Yang got out of bed and drove the Bentley Mulsanne out of the Su family manor. Soon, Su Yang came to Zhejiang University and walked directly into Hua Shimiao's office. Master. When Hua Shimiao saw Su Yang, he knelt on the ground and saluted respectfully, his eyes full of awe. Well, get up. Su Yang raised his hand slightly, and then asked, what happened to what I asked you to inquire about? Reporting to Master, Mr. Su is very strict. He only told me that the person who attacked the Su family came from a powerful ancient martial arts sect with unfathomable strength. He refused to say anything else, Hua Shimiao responded. The ancient martial arts sect. When Su Yang heard this, he couldn't help but ask, Hua Shimiao, what state is my grandfather in? Master of martial arts. Hua Shimiao continued, Mr. Su has already entered the realm of a master many years ago, and after my treatment, his injuries have recovered by 50% to 60%. Master, if the smiling Buddha wants to attack the Su family, it is completely self-destructive, so I will not interfere, Hua Shimiao added. Well, I understand. Su Yang guessed, since that person can fight with grandpa and both sides suffer, he must also be a master. Master's guess is correct. It is true. However, if that person comes to provoke the Su family again next time, the result will not be a lose-lose situation. Hua Shimiao flattered him and said, Master, you are also a grandmaster, and you are so skilled in transforming the 5 elements with Genkai. You must be among the best among the masters. If you join forces with Mr. Su, that person will never be able to leave Jiangbei alive. Hearing this, Su Yang just smiled. He has not yet met the Grand Master and is not sure whether he can compete. Hua Shimiao, how many martial arts masters are there in the world? Are there many? Su Yang asked. Not many, just a handful. Hua Shimiao responded seriously, a martial arts master can definitely be an elder of the ancient martial arts sect, which is even rarer in the city. A master of Mr. Su's level not only shocks the city, he is also famous even in the ancient martial arts world. Having said this, Hua Shimiao suddenly thought of a question and continued, Master, the young master Sushientian who killed the laughing Buddha in the Jimen black market last night, is that you? Su Yang did not deny it, but said, you just need to know this yourself, don't tell anyone. Yes, Hua Shimiao responded respectfully. Su Yang nodded, and then said, how is your practice of the 9-turn rejuvenation needle going? I've almost mastered the 2 turns you taught me, but I'm not yet proficient enough, Hua Shimiao said. Su Yang shook his head and said, it has been so many days and you are still not proficient. It seems that your talent in medicine is very poor. If others knew that someone complained about Hua Shimiao's poor medical talent, their jaws would definitely drop. After all, Hua Shimiao is a well-known miracle doctor, and he is also well known in Kyoto. However, Hua Shimiao did not refute, but accepted it happily, not even daring to fart. Master said that the disciple must practice hard and not let the master down, Hua Shimiao said in a lowered posture. Well, hard work can make up for weakness, and it's always good to practice more, Su Yang nodded. Thank you, Master, for your encouragement. Hua Shimiao said respectfully, then thought of a question and said, Master, I heard someone said that Sushientian went to the Jimen black market to buy energy stones. Do you still need energy stones now? When Su Yang heard this, his eyes suddenly lit up and he said, if you need it, do you have it? I don't have it. Energy stones are very precious, but your grandfather does, and he has said that in order to express his gratitude, he will wait for Su Xiantian at the Jimin Black Market tonight with 2 energy stones and personally offer the energy stones. Hua Shimiao looked at Su Yang and asked doubtfully, Master, don't you know this news? I don't know. Su Yang shook his head. Then are you going to see Mr. Su tonight? Go, why don't you go? A smile appeared on Su Yang's lips. He would definitely not miss the 2 energy stones. Anyway, when he disguises himself as Su Xiantian, his voice, appearance, and aura will undergo huge changes, and no one will recognize him. Hua Shimiao, thank you for telling me such important news. I don't want to stay in school. Please help me take a few more days off, Su Yang said. Master, you're welcome. If you ask for leave, I will help you arrange it, Hua Shimiao said respectfully. While Su Yang and Hua Shimiao were talking, there was a sudden knock on the office door. After receiving Su Yang's signal, Hua Shimiao said calmly, come in. Immediately afterwards, a woman wearing black stockings walked in. Her long legs caught everyone's attention. She was Hua Qingdai. Grandfather. Hua Qingdai first greeted Hua Shimiao, then saw Su Yang next to her, and immediately said angrily, okay, young Master Su, I asked for leave to fight dogs on the first day of school, and now you have the nerve to come back. Teacher Qingdai, I haven't seen you for a few days, Su Yang greeted. Don't call me teacher, you don't deserve it. Hua Qingdai said angrily, you are such a waste, even just looking at you makes me panic. Damn it! Am I so annoying? Su Yang touched the bridge of his nose, and then counterattacked, Teacher Qingdai, do you have any special hobbies? It's been a few days, why are you still wearing beige pants? Don't they smell bad? Can I change it once a day? I washed it when I got home that day. Today As Hua Qingdai was talking, she suddenly realized, why should I explain to him, so she gritted her teeth and said, Su Yang, you stinking scoundrel, don't bring up this topic again, and don't look around. All right. Su Yang smiled and said, Dean Hua, Teacher Qingdai should have something to do with you. You guys can chat, I'll leave first. After the words fell, Su Yang strode out of the dean's office. You can't leave, just stop. Hua Qingdai wanted to stop her, but Hua Shimiao said, Qingdai, Su Yang has already asked for leave, let him go. Asking for leave again. Hua Qingdai couldn't help but ask, what is he going to do this time? Hua Shimiao paused. What to do? Master didn't say that either. After a pause for a few seconds, Hua Shimiao really couldn't think of a reason, so he said, it should be to go to a high-end club. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 46. High-end club. Hua Qingdai was a little confused when she heard this. After she realized what she was saying, she gritted her teeth and said, Grandpa, are you right? Do you also allow time off to go to a high-end club? Your attitude towards young Master Su is abnormal. Grandpa, is young Master Su threatening you? Okay, Qingdai, don't interfere with Su Yang's affairs from now on. Hua Shimiao did not explain, but said, Qingdai, why did you come to me? Hua Qingdai was indignant, but since her grandfather had spoken, she could only give up. Immediately afterwards, Hua Qingdai responded, Grandpa, I just want to tell you that I won't go back for lunch at noon. Huh? Where are you going? Hua Shimiao asked doubtfully. Brother Nalan invited me to have lunch at Yangtze Lake, Hua Qingdai said shyly, her delicate jade face flushed. Feasting at West Lake. Hua Shimiao paused, and then said, even an old guy like me knows that it's a couple's restaurant. How far have you and Nalan Mingj developed? Grandpa, we haven't confirmed our relationship yet. This is just a normal dinner among friends, Hua Qingdai said with a blush. Would ordinary friends order food at Yangtze Lake? Hua Shimiao said lightly, Qingdai, you'd better keep a distance from Nalan Mingj. I can't figure out that person. This is brother Nalan's temperament. He is hesitant and profound. What do you know? Hua Qingdai rolled her eyes at Grandpa, and then said, besides, Grandpa, last time you praised brother Nalan for being wise and steady, and asked me to have more contact with him. Why have you changed your tune now? Last time was last time, this time is this time. Hua Shimiao said seriously, in short, you have to keep a distance from him and don't get too close. Hua Shimiao could probably guess Nalan Mingj's intention, and it was probably related to his ancestral elixir. The last time they met, Nalan Mingj proposed to buy it, but he rejected it. Hua Shimiao felt that Nalan Mingj approached his granddaughter most likely because of the ancestral elixir, which made him feel a little disgusted with Nalan Mingj. However, it was not convenient for Hua Shimiao to tell Hua Qingdai these things. Grandpa, why are you so tolerant of that good-for-nothing Su Yang, but a little disgusted with brother Nalan? Have you mistaken the two of them? I don't care what you say. It's getting late and I'm going on a date with brother Nalan. Hua Qingdai curled her lips, then turned and left the office regardless of Hua Shimiao's obstruction. Seeing this, Hua Shimiao could only sigh helplessly. After Su Yang walked out of the office, he dialed Li Feixuan's phone and asked to meet him at the campus lake. At this moment, Su Yang was sitting on a bench by the lake, waiting for Li Feixuan. The campus lake is the school's dating mecca, surrounded by couples in twos and threes, hugging each other as if no one else was around. Look at that classmate, he came to the lake alone. Isn't it uncomfortable to watch us having sex? Haha, I guess he doesn't have money for lunch, so he wants to come to the lake to eat dog food. Everyone, don't be polite. Just feed him a lot of dog food. Feed this guy full. Several couples glanced at Su Yang, their words full of ridicule. But at this moment, Li Feixuan, wearing a lavender dress, slowly walked over. She has fair skin, stunning facial features, waist-length hair, and elegant temperament. She attracted everyone's attention as soon as she appeared. Immediately afterwards, under the gaze of everyone, Li Feixuan came to Su Yang and said, Su Yang, what do you want me to do? Honey, isn't it noon? I want to treat you to dinner. Su Yang smiled softly. Li Feixuan nodded and said, let's go to the cafeteria to eat. I have classes in the afternoon, so I can't go too far. Okay. Su Yang responded with a smile, and then left the campus lake with Li Feixuan. Damn it, that girl just now is probably Li Feixuan, the beauty of the finance department, right? Be confident, she is Li Feixuan. Her face is so beautiful that it is impossible to admit her mistake. That guy called Li Feixuan's wife, but Li Feixuan didn't refuse. Damn it, we wanted to feed him dog food. What a waste. Seeing this scene, several couples in the campus lake were stunned, and the men's eyes were filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. Soon, Su Yang and Li Feixuan came to the college cafeteria together and had a simple lunch. Su Yang, it's my grandpa's 70th birthday tomorrow night. Do you want to come over to wish him a birthday? Li Feixuan asked after the meal. Your grandfather? Su Yang smiled softly and said, honey, your grandfather is my grandfather, I must go. Su Yang, don't call me wife. Li Feixuan blushed with embarrassment and gritted her teeth and said, didn't I say, let's talk first and then get married if it's suitable. Okay, then I won't call you wife. I'll call you wife from now on, Su Yang said. Isn't this the same meaning? I'll ignore you. Li Feixuan's face turned redder, she rolled her eyes at Su Yang angrily, and ran away shyly. Empress Qing Huang will be shy, haha. When Su Yang saw this scene, he found it very interesting and his affection for Li Feichuan doubled. I have to prepare a decent gift for my birthday tomorrow night. I just happen to be going to the Jimin Black Market tonight. Let's pick out gifts then. 2 energy stones, I don't know how big they are, can they allow me to break through to the 3rd level of Qi training? Su Yang smiled, then left the school and drove to the riverside villa. After last night, Su Yang realized that the person secretly protecting him was not Xiao Ting, but the deputy captain of the secret guard, Guo Yi. Su Yang knew something about Guo Yi. He was a thoughtful and well-strategized person. If Xiao Ting is the general who charges into battle, then Guo Yi is the strategist in charge of the 3 armies. It must have been because Xiao Ting failed to keep an eye on Su Yang several times, so he was replaced by Su Shenbing. Although Su Yang was aware of Guo Yi's presence, he still didn't make it clear as usual. However, after Su Yang walked into the room, Guo Yi also followed him, which touched Su Yang's bottom line. Guo Yi, you have crossed the line. I don't like to be disturbed when I am resting. At this time, Su Yang said lightly to the air. After hearing this, Guo Yi left the villa without saying a word and stayed outside the villa instead. At the same time, he was particularly curious, how could the eldest young master know that I was lurking in the dark? After noticing that Guo Yi had gone out, Su Yang sat cross-legged and entered a state of cultivation. Before I knew it, it was already night. Su Yang let go of his consciousness and found that Guo Yi was smarter and chose a relatively high place to watch the villa from a distance. In this way, no matter which direction Su Yang walked, he could not escape his eyes. But it is impossible for a person's eyes to be kept open all the time. Su Yang caught the moment when Guo Yi blinked and left the riverside villa, and the figure quickly disappeared into the night. It was around 8 o'clock in the evening, inside the Jimin Black Market. Su Qianqian was wearing a Chinese tunic suit, sitting in a small tea house, waiting patiently for Su Xiantian. Since learning about Su Xiantian yesterday, he has been thinking about one issue, and that is to win over. He was already over 70 years old, and people were subject to birth, old age, illness, and death. He could not always protect the Su family, so he had the idea of winning over Su Xiantian. Su Xiantian has already entered the realm of a master at a young age, and his future is limitless. If he can be pulled into the Su family's chariot, the Su family will be safe for at least 100 years. This idea became more and more intense in Su Qianqian's heart, so the next day, he released the news that in order to thank Su Xiantian for killing the smiling Buddha and resolving the crisis in the Su family, he was willing to give away 2 energy stones. Doing this is just to attract others. Su Qianqian has already thought about it. As long as he meets the young grandmaster, he will get involved no matter what. He even entertained the idea of becoming brothers with Su Xiantian. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 47. That's right. That's sworn vows. Betrothal is the most direct and effective way to bring 2 men closer together. As long as they become sworn brothers, the Su family will have an inevitable connection with Su Xiantian. Even if he dies, Su Xiantian will spare no effort to take care of the Su family. Although there is a big age gap between him and Su Xiantian, ancient warriors respect their strength and only respect the strong. Su Xiantian has already entered the realm of a master at a young age and is fully qualified to be his brother. Moreover, being a brother-in-law to such a young talent would not be embarrassing, but would be very honorable. Those old immortals would definitely be jealous if they knew they had a young sworn brother. Thinking of this, Su Qianqian unconsciously revealed a smile, firmed up his idea of sworn vows, and waited for Su Xiantian with great expectation. At this moment, Su Yang had arrived outside the Jimin Black Market, disguised himself as Queen Su Xian, and strode into the black market. Master Su! Master Su! When the 2 guards saw Su Yang, they greeted him respectfully, their postures were at their lowest, and their eyes were full of awe. Yes, Su Yang said calmly, and then he was about to enter the black market. Master Su, please wait a moment. I have something to say to you. Suddenly, a guard plucked up the courage to say. Su Yang stopped, frowned, and said, say. That's right, Mr. Su, there are 9 black market regulations in the 9-door black market. No matter how much hatred the two parties have, they are not allowed to do anything in the black market, otherwise they will be severely punished by the 9-door black market. You mean, you want to punish me? Su Yang's eyes flashed, a cold aura emitted from his body, and the air around him seemed to freeze. No, no, no. The guard's expression suddenly changed, and he said hastily, Master Su, you misunderstood, please listen to what I have to say. After you left last night, I reported the matter to Jimin. When the leader of Jimin learned about it, he appreciated you very much and broke the rules that Jimin Black Market had adhered to for decades. He decided not to do anything to you. Any punishment. The guard continued, Mr. Su, the alliance leader asked me to tell you that Jimin is willing to make good friends with you. The alliance leader will come to Jiangbei in person in a while to have a drink with you. Since the other party had a friendly attitude, Su Yang naturally would not refuse and said calmly, I understand, thank you leader for me. You're welcome, Mr. Su, the guard said respectfully. Su Yang nodded and then said, by the way, I don't have any hobbies. I just like to collect energy stones. Your Jimin Black Market, in such a big place, must have a lot of energy stones. If your alliance leader really wants to be friends with me, bring more energy stones with you when you come to Jiangbei. After leaving a few words, Su Yang strode away. Energy stone. The guard paused, and then said to himself, I almost forgot that the first time this evildoer came to the Jimin Black Market was for the energy stone. He came to the black market tonight probably to accept Sukyankin's gift. It seems that Mr. Su really likes energy stones. Another guard said, you must tell the leader of the alliance about this matter. You can get twice the result with half the effort if you do what he wants. Well, our 9-door black market is spread all over China, and there are still a lot of energy stones. While the two guards were talking, Su Yang had already arrived at the black market street. Su Xiantian appears. Young Grandmaster Su Xiantian. He is really young, with starry eyes and sharp eyebrows. He looks so handsome and cold. Such an outstanding evildoer, I wonder if he needs a girlfriend. It would be great if I could date him. Stop dreaming. Who among the major ancient martial arts sects and urban wealthy families doesn't want to win over Su Xiantian? What kind of woman does he want? Just like last time, Su Yang attracted everyone's attention as soon as he appeared. But what was different from last time was that this time everyone no longer doubted him, but were full of awe and admiration for him. Especially the girls in the black market. Some of them are disciples of sects, and some are the daughters of wealthy urban families, but at this moment they have a common identity, that is, fans of Su Xiantian. Several of the girls looked at Su Yang longingly, with little stars twinkling in their eyes, wishing they could take Su Yang as their own. Sukyankin stood in the crowd, his bright eyes fell on Su Xiantian, and he looked at him carefully. You are so handsome, you are like a dragon or a phoenix among people. Yes, his appearance can be regarded as a prosperous one. Although he is a little inferior to me when I was young, he can barely meet the standard to be my adopted brother. Sukyankin looked at Su Xiantian, nodded with satisfaction, then stood up and said hello, little friend Su. When Su Yang heard the sound, he turned around and saw a familiar face. Regarding his grandfather, Su Yang had a deep impression in his mind. The feeling of being connected by blood was so close. But now he is Su Xiantian, so he pretends not to know Sukyankin and frowns. Who are you? I am Sukyankin, from the Su family in Jiangbei. Sukyankin smiled softly and said, the smiling Buddha has been arrogant recently, trying to harm the Su family. Thank you so much, little friend Su, for taking action last night. Previously, what impressed Su Yang the most about Su Qianqian was that he looked down upon Su Yang, even more than Su Shenbing, and didn't even bother to discipline Su Yang. Now seeing his grandfather being so polite to him, Su Yang felt very happy. But on the surface, he kept his distance and responded calmly, "It turns out to be Mr. Su. Your name is like thunder, but you may have misunderstood. The reason why I killed the smiling Buddha was not for the Su family, but because he offended me." Su Yang said calmly, "As for the conflict between him and your Su family, I don't know about it." "Haha, little friend Su, although you did it unintentionally, you solved our Su family's big trouble." As Su Qianqian spoke, he reached into his arms and took out 2 egg-sized energy stones. He smiled softly and said, "I know you intend to buy energy stones. It just so happens that the Su family has collected 2 of them as a token of gratitude. I will give them away today. Here you go. 2 energy stones. So big." Su Yang's eyes suddenly lit up, but he said, "Mr. Su, this is inappropriate." "There is nothing inappropriate. You will not be rewarded if you have no merit. You have helped the Su family, so you can naturally accept the Su family's thank you gift." Su Qianqian smiled and said, "Little friend Su, please don't refuse. This is my little wish. In this case, it would be disrespectful for me to refuse." Su Yang put away the 2 energy stones without leaving a trace, and then said with a smile, "Thank you, Mr. Su." "You're welcome, little friend Su." Su Qianqian waved his hand, then showed a smile, and then went straight to the topic. "Su Xiao, in fact, I am calling you this time mainly because I have a merciless request. I hope Su Xiao can agree." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Mr. Su, just tell me what's going on. Then I'll just say it." "But it doesn't matter," Su Yang said calmly. "Good." Su Qianqian looked at Su Yang with a very sincere look. "Little friend Su, I fell in love with you as soon as I saw you. Although it was just a one-time encounter, it is better than knowing you for decades. So, little friend Su, let's become sworn friends." Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 48. Let's become sworn friends. As soon as these words came out, Su Yang was immediately confused and stood aside with a face full of astonishment. "Grandpa wants to sworn brother? What the hell is this?" "Little friend Su, don't be too surprised. I have seriously considered it and it is most suitable for us to become sworn friends." Seeing Su Yang in a daze, Su Qianqian said, "Look, your surname is Su, and my surname is Su. My name is Qianqian, and your name is Xiantian. The meanings are not much different. What a fate. Ahem." Su Yang touched the bridge of his nose, and then said, "Mr. Su, are you kidding? There is such a big age difference between us, how can we be sworn brothers?" "I was serious." Su Qianqian continued, "Age is not a problem. You are very strong. We are both martial arts masters. We stand on the same level. It is reasonable for us to become sworn brothers. Besides, I'm not old either. I'm only 70 this year. You're not young either. You should be in your late 20s. We're about the same age. There's a 50-year age gap. Do you call this almost the same?" Su Yang had a dark face and politely refused, "Old man, I think it's better to forget it. I have no intention of becoming sworn friends. Little friend Su, I'm serious today. If you don't agree to sworn friends with me, I will." Su Qianqian paused, then said in a rogue manner, "I will cling to you, and I will follow you wherever you go. If you don't sworn with me, you won't be able to have freedom." Although Su Yang did not fight with Su Qianqian, he could clearly sense that his grandfather's strength was unfathomable and he was a true martial arts master. According to Hua Shimiao, Grandpa's injuries have recovered to 50% to 60%. Even if he didn't take action last night, the smiling Buddha would definitely die. Facing his grandfather in this state, Su Yang felt a vague sense of powerlessness. After all, he is not a real master, he is just mistaken for being a master because of his use of water polo technique. But before, Su Yang killed the smiling Buddha at the peak of his strength with one move, so he always thought that he was almost the same as a real master. But after meeting Sukyankan tonight, he realized the gap between himself and the martial arts master. Huajin and Grandmaster are just one step apart, but they are worlds apart. Su Yang can easily kill the peak of Huajin, but he is extremely afraid of the master. He felt that if he fought against his grandfather, he would most likely lose miserably. So when he saw his grandfather cheating and pestering him, Su Yang smiled bitterly and said, "Mr. Su, why are you doing this? Su Xiantian, just come down. I promise not to pester you from now on." Sukyankan continued, "Besides, we brothers are of the same mind and can cut through gold, so it would be nice to have someone to take care of us in Jiangbei." Brothers are of the same mind? Su Yang didn't know what to say. Seeing his grandfather's insistence, he could only smile helplessly. "If you don't say anything, I'll take it as your promise." When Sukyankan saw this, he was overjoyed. He looked up to the sky and laughed and said, "Ha ha, Su Xiantian, I am a few years older than you, so I will be arrogant for once and become your big brother." "How much older? How old is 70? Grandpa, where is your face?" Su Yang cursed in his heart, but had no choice but to agree. He didn't want to be followed and entangled by his grandfather all the time, otherwise he wouldn't be able to do anything, and he might even be at risk of being exposed. If Grandpa were to know that Su Xiantian was Su Yang, he would probably die on the spot, right? Certainly. This is not the most important thing. The key is that Mr. Nalan who instigated Su Jinghan has not surfaced yet. Su Yang also didn't know who the person behind the attack on the Su family was and what his origins were. So for now, he doesn't want to expose himself. Only by pretending to be a pig can you eat the tiger. "Mr. Su, you've already mentioned this. If I refuse any more, it would be foolish for me to refuse." At this moment, Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Okay, let's make a sworn vow. From now on, you will be my eldest brother." "Ha ha, what a good brother." Hearing this, Sukyankan knew that he had succeeded, and held Su Yang's hand excitedly. "In the future, we will share blessings and hardships. The Su family is your family, and I am your big brother." "Dear brother. What a sin. My ancestors, I have no choice but to do this. Everything happens for a reason. You have spirits in heaven, so don't blame me." Su Yang first prayed in his heart, then held his grandfather's hand and said impassionedly, "Good brother, we share the blessings and share the hardships." "Ha ha. Ha ha ha." Sukyankan was particularly excited. The more he looked at Su Xiantian, the more satisfied he became. "Brother, how can we not drink while we are sworn brothers? Big brother knows that there is a private restaurant in Jiangbei with good food. Come on, big brother will take you to have a taste." "Brother, you are still injured, so you might as well avoid drinking," Su Yang said with concern. Sukyankan was suddenly surprised and said, "I remember that I never said that I was injured." "How did you know? Did you? Oops. To help." Su Yang's thoughts changed rapidly and he smiled hastily. "Brother, I am actually a medical practitioner, so I can naturally tell that you are injured." "Air of medicine." Sukyankan paused, then smiled, and said, "Brother Xian, I'm going to test you. Can you judge my injury?" "This is simple." Su Yang pretended to check it out, and then said, "Brother, your injury is old, at least 30 years old. Recently, you have used your chi forcefully, causing the old injury to relapse. But fortunately, someone used the 9 turns rejuvenation needle to treat you, and you got better. Su Yang continued, if nothing happens, your injury will be healed in 10 days at most. Brother Xian, you are amazing. Su Qianqian said in shock, not only did you determine the extent of my injuries, but you also identified the 9 turn rejuvenation needle. You are worthy of being heir to the medical profession. Your sect must not be simple, right? When mentioning the master's sect, Su Yang pretended to be inscrutable and said, brother, it's not convenient to reveal this. Haha, I understand, brother, I won't ask any more. Su Qianqian smiled knowingly, then took Su Yang's hand and said, I am careful about my injuries. It's okay to drink some wine. Let's go, dear brother, go have a drink. Su Yang couldn't resist his kindness, so he had no choice but to follow Su Qianqian and leave the Jimin black market. After the two left, everyone at the scene realized what they were doing. Damn it, Su Qianqian and Su Xiantian became sworn friends. It's too hasty, and their ages don't match, right? What's all the fuss about? The ancient martial arts world only recognizes strength. Su Qianqian is the #1 master in Jiangbei, and his reputation is far and wide, but he is not a high achiever. The Su family has made a high move. By joining forces, I am afraid that in the next few decades, the Su family will firmly sit on the throne of the first family in Jiangbei. Half an hour later, Su Qianqian took Su Yang to a small restaurant in the suburbs of Jiangbei. The restaurant looks old and not luxurious, but there are many customers, so the taste should not be bad. Su Qianqian seemed to come often, ordering dishes skillfully, and then sitting face to face with Su Yang waiting for the dishes. Su Yang just wanted to find a reason to say goodbye to his grandfather quickly. He didn't want to take advantage all the time. But at this time, Su Qianqian suddenly smiled and said, Xiandi, eldest brother, I have an incompetent son named Su Shenbing, and he admires you very much. According to seniority, my son should call you uncle. Dear brother, I will call you right now and ask your nephew to come and pay homage to you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 49. A useless son? My nephew? Whoa, this is a bit big. Su Yang came to his senses and hurriedly said, brother, it's so late. Your son should rest. Let's have dinner together when we have the opportunity in the future. That loser, he is still in the state of energy transformation after he is over 40, how can he have the nerve to rest? Su Qianqian was full of disdain for his son, and then said, besides, dear brother, you are his uncle. No matter how late it is, he should come to see you. Su Yang smiled bitterly in his heart and refused on the surface, brother, forget it. I didn't prepare a gift. I have to give you a gift when I see your son. Let's talk about it next time. It doesn't matter if it's a gift or not. If you're willing to see that loser, that's the best gift you can give him. Su Qianqian continued, also, dear brother, don't always be your son. He is my son and your nephew. Don't be so outspoken. My nephew, okay, brother. Su Yang touched the bridge of his nose and then said, don't let my nephew come over. Let's just have something to eat tonight. But when Su Yang was talking, Su Qianqian had already dialed Su Shenbing's phone number and said calmly, Shenbing, I'm at a restaurant I frequent. I want you to appear in front of me within half an hour. I'll introduce you to an elder. After saying that, Su Qianqian put away his mobile phone, looked at Su Yang, and smiled softly, Brother Xian, my son has been notified. Don't refuse any more. It's always good to meet him tonight to avoid encountering him in the future. To the point where we don't know each other. All right. Now that things have come to this, Su Yang has no choice but to accept it reluctantly. Sukyankin is very shrewd. He knows very well that no matter how long he lives, he will not have many years to live. In the future, the relationship between the Su family and Su Xiantian will need to be maintained by Su Shenbing. After Su Shenbing and Su Suanation's relationship is properly resolved, the Su family will be taken care of by Su Xiantian only after his death. Therefore, Sukyankin couldn't wait to introduce his son to Su Xiantian. Next, the dishes ordered earlier were served one after another. Sukyankin and Su Yang were not polite and waited for Su Shenbing while eating. "Brother Xian, I know the restaurant owner, and I have reserved 4 bottles of liquor, Centennial National Cellar, for us to drink today," Sukyankin said with a smile, and filled Su Yang's bottles. "Okay, big brother, I'll toast you with this glass." Su Yang didn't refuse anyone who came, picked up the wine glass and drank it all in one gulp. "My good brother has a good capacity for drinking." Sukyankin was equally bored and couldn't help praising him, and then filled it up again. In this way, the two of them soon drank 2 bottles of Centennial Kuajiao, which was more than 50 degrees. "Brother Xian, you are so full of energy. You can drink almost a pound without blushing." Sukyankin was a little dazed, but his consciousness was still clear. "Haha, brother, I'm not naturally blushing when I drink, but I'm a little drunk," Su Yang said with a smile, pretending to be a little cocky, but in fact, he was very sober now. Because the wine he just drank into his stomach was refined by his spiritual energy, and the alcohol turned into gas and volatilized in the air. Even if it was 10 pounds or 100 pounds, let alone nearly 1 kilogram, he would not be drunk. "I'm just a little drunk. It seems that Brother Xian can still drink. Come on, Brother Xian, let's continue." Sukyankin poured the remaining wine into Su Yang's cup, but before it was filled, there was no more wine in the bottle. He was about to get up to get the wine when a black Rolls-Royce sped up and parked in front of the restaurant. Subsequently, Su Shenbing got out of the Rolls-Royce, trotted over, stood respectfully next to Sukyankin, and said, "Hello, father." "Shen Wen, you came just in time." Sukyankin sat down and said, "Go and get all the wine I have here." "Yes." Su Shenbing did as he was told, walked into the restaurant and took out 2 bottles of Centennial National Cellar. Then his eyes fell on Su Xiantian next to him, frowning and looking at him. "No matter what you look at, he is the elder I was talking about on the phone." Seeing this, Sukyankin said sternly, "You bastard, what are you doing standing still? Why don't you call me uncle?" "Uncle?" Su Shenbing looked at Su Yang, his face full of astonishment, a little confused, and asked doubtfully, "Father, are you not mistaken? He looks about the same age as my son. How can he be my elder? I became sworn friends with him. Now he is my good brother and I am his eldest brother. Naturally, you have to call him uncle," Sukyankin explained. "Father, you drank too much and you picked up a random person on the street and became a sworn friend. Come home with me." Su Shenbing smiled helplessly, then supported Sukyankin and wanted to take Sukyankin away. "Get away." Sukyankin threw his son away and said sternly, "Trash, are you blind? This is the young man who killed the smiling Buddha, Su Xiantian. Tonight I was at the Jimen black market, and we hit it off like old friends, so we became sworn brothers." Sukyankin scolded, "Call uncle quickly, don't make me angry." Su Xiantian. Hearing this, Su Shenbing was shocked and looked at Su Yang differently. At first, he thought that Su Yang was just an ordinary person, called uncle or something. His father must have drunk too much and talked drunkenly, so he didn't have a good impression of Su Yang, and he even thought his father was a big fool. However, after learning Su Yang's identity, Su Shenbing felt a chill in his heart, and his eyes changed from disgust to respect. After a moment of pause, he praised his father's wisdom in his heart. father actually became sworn friends with Su Xiantian, haha, good sworn vows. In this way, the Su family and Su Xiantian are connected. Whoever wants to touch the Su family in the future must first consider the two grand masters of the Su family. My father is so scheming, he is indeed the pillar of the Su family. Su Shenbing was overjoyed, and a smile appeared on his face unconsciously. Su Shenbing, call me uncle. At this time, Su Qianqian got angry. Su Shenbing reacted instantly, then looked at Su Yang, and said hastily and in awe, uncle. Dad calls him uncle? Damn it! I wholeheartedly want to be your son, but you want to be my nephew? Is this reasonable? This is unreasonable. Su Yang didn't dare to agree, so he smiled and said, Master Su, you are so much older than me that you can be my father. Let's discuss our own affairs. You don't have to. However, before Su Yang finished speaking, Su Shenbing interrupted and said with a serious face, Uncle Xiantian, this is not okay. You are my father's sworn brother, and that is my elder, Su Shenbing. Rules are rules. Uncle Xiantian, come here, my nephew offers you a glass of wine. I'll drink it. You can do whatever you want. With that said, Su Shenbing opened the wine bottle, filled it for himself, and drank it all in one gulp. This. Su Yang's face was full of embarrassment. He had never seen anyone rushing to recognize his son as his uncle. Uncle Xiantian, if you hadn't disowned me today, I would have kept drinking. Seeing that Su Yang did not agree, Su Shenbing poured another glass of wine and drank it in large gulps. After 2 glasses of wine, Su Shenbing started to get drunk, and his expression looked uncomfortable. Brother Xian, my son is quite stubborn. You should come down, otherwise he will keep drinking, Su Qianqian said. Dad, I'm here for your health. If you know the truth in the future, you can't beat me. Hey, okay. It was difficult for Su Yang to do the same thing, but he finally accepted Su Shenbing as his wise nephew. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 50. Uncle Xiantian, please accept my nephew's greetings. Su Shenbing was so happy that he bent down to salute with excitement, his face full of excitement. Dad is going to kowtow? Su Yang was startled, and hurriedly stopped him, and then said, my nephew of the divine soldier, don't be so polite. Sit down quickly. Su Shenbing then gave up his plan to kowtow and sat aside obediently. Then he couldn't help but ask, Uncle Xiantian, how old are you this year? Su Yang said truthfully, must be in his early 20s. You are so young, so awesome. Su Shenbing thought of his son and continued, my son is about the same age as you, but he is a waste. He only knows how to eat, drink, have fun and do nothing all day long. Compared with you, he is completely different. Su Yang has a black line on his face. Do you think I am that bad? Shen Wen, what are you talking about? Don't say such words again. At this time, Su Qianqian scolded. When Su Yang heard this, he felt a little better. Grandpa still loves me. When he sees his father slandering me, he will stop him. Who knows, Su Qianqian then said, how can that good-for-nothing Su Yang be compared to a genius like my good brother? Aren't you insulting my good brother? Yes, I said something wrong. I will punish myself with a drink. Su Shenbing was afraid of making Su Xiantian angry, so he hurriedly drank a glass of wine as a punishment. However, Su Yang felt particularly unhappy at this moment, and his head was filled with question marks. I originally thought that my grandpa was speaking for me, but after working on it for a long time, it was my grandpa who looked down on me the most. Although Su Yang felt unhappy, he didn't want to show it and just wanted to say goodbye to the two of them as soon as possible. With this in his mind, Su Yang looked at the wine on the dinner table and thought, I want you to blackmail me, I will drink you all down tonight. So, Su Yang smiled and said, Haha, eldest brother, good nephew, there is no need to say anything else. It's rare that we have a good time tonight. We won't go home until we are drunk. Okay, dear brother, my eldest brother will accompany you. Uncle Xiantian, although I can't drink well, I definitely can't back down tonight. Sukinkan and his son agreed enthusiastically, both wanting to get closer to Su Xiantian through drinking. In this way, the three of them were eating and drinking. During this period, the centenary national cellar was gone and replaced with other wines. About 2 hours later, Sukinkan and Su Shenbing were both confused and couldn't sit still. Among them, Sukinkan was lying on the dining table, while Su Shenbing was lying on the ground, mumbling something, but what he said could not be heard clearly. "Grandpa, Dad, this is a small lesson for you to look down on me." Su Yang was not drunk at all, a playful smile appeared on his lips, and then he disappeared into the night. As for the safety of his grandfather and father, he didn't have to worry, because he had already noticed that the driver of the Rolls-Royce was Xiaoting. After Su Yang left, Xiaoting called the servants of the Su family and brought Su Shenbing and Su Qinqin back to the Su family. It didn't take long. Su Yang returned to the Jimen black market again and used Su Suanation's appearance to choose gifts for Li Fixuan's grandfather in the black market. It was his first time to give a gift, and it definitely couldn't be shabby, so Su Yang spent more than 7 million to buy a piece of top-quality Lushan Yunwu tea. This tea brick is not simple. It has a separate name, called Fortune Blossoms. It was collected from the peak of Mount Lu and added with precious medicinal materials. Ancient warriors drank it to strengthen their muscles and veins. Ordinary people drank it to strengthen their bodies and prolong their lives. After buying the birthday gift, Su Yang left the Jimen black market directly. Damn it, Su Xiantian is so generous. Riches and flowers don't come cheap. That's for sure. A tea brick given an independent name has undoubted value. Why did he buy tea bricks? Given his level, wealth, and flowers will have no effect on him. Maybe it's a gift, or maybe they just like to drink Lushan Yunwu tea. There was a lot of discussion, but Su Yang could no longer hear it. After he returned to his original appearance, he returned to the riverside villa. Guo Yi no longer guarded outside, but came to the living room, lay on the sofa and fell asleep. This Guo Yi, compared to Xiaoting, is a bit unprofessional. Su Yang smiled and did not wake up Guo Yi. Instead, he walked up to the third floor, closed the door and began to meditate. I got 2 egg-sized energy stones tonight, which is equivalent to 4 low-grade spiritual stones. I don't know if he can reach the 3rd level of Qi training after refining everything. Only when he reaches the 3rd level of Qi training will Su Yang be more confident to face the martial arts master. At the same time, Su family manor. Su Qinqin and Su Shenbing, father and son, have regained consciousness after taking anti-alcoholic medicine. Xiaoting, when you saw me, was I really lying on the ground? Su Shenbing asked. Yes, and moreover, patriarch, you are still drooling and slurring some words that are incomprehensible, Xiaoting responded truthfully. Su Shenbing's face darkened, and he looked particularly ashamed. Xiaoting, I didn't look ugly, did I? Su Qinqin couldn't help but ask. No, you just fell asleep on the table, Xiaoting said. Hearing this, Su Qinqin breathed a sigh of relief, then looked at Su Shenbing and said seriously, Shenbing, your wine is not good. Drink less when you go out in the future, so as not to lose the face of the Su family. Okay, father. Su Shenbing humbly agreed, then said worriedly, I wonder if Uncle Xiantian had a good time tonight. Father, do you have his contact information? I forgot to ask for it, but it doesn't matter. As long as he is still in Jiangbei, there will definitely be a chance to meet him. Su Qinqin smiled proudly and said, this sworn vow is the most correct decision I have ever made in my life. Shenbing, I will be more respectful to your Uncle Xiantian in the future. The future of the Su family will depend on him. Clear? Su Yinkan nodded, and then said, by the way, several people from Guoren are coming to Jiangbei. They seem to have a mission. You can receive them tomorrow. Although our Su family has withdrawn from the country, they have come from afar. As a host, we always have to follow some etiquette. Besides, the few people who came are elites you have trained. Su Yinkan ordered, and then said, I have to rest quietly in the near future. There is nothing important. It's best not to disturb me. You can go. Yes. Su Shenbing agreed, then turned around and left the underground secret room. After coming out, Su Shenbing looked at Xiaoting beside him and asked, where did Su Yang go today? Did he get into trouble? Reporting to the head of the family, Guoyi sent news that the eldest young master has been staying at the riverside villa and has not gone out. Xiaoting replied. Impossible, right? Did Guoyi go to the room to check? Don't let that loser sneak out again. No, Guoyi said that he had checked and the young master was always in the room. That's strange. How could he hold it in? If something goes wrong, there must be a monster. Su Shenbing frowned, then said, forget it, let him do the hard work. Anyway, he will go to the National Blade to practice in a few days. Let him enjoy peace and happiness in these few days. The next day. Afternoon. Su Yang ended his cultivation state, and the 2 energy stones in his hands had turned into ashes. The second to third levels of Qi refining require a lot more spiritual energy. 4 low-grade spiritual stones are simply not enough. Su Yang said lightly, it seems that if you want to break through, you need to collect more energy stones. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's almost time. It's time to celebrate my birthday. Su Yang glanced at the time and was about to call Li Feichuan. But as soon as he took out his mobile phone and before dialing, a call came in. Wang Fugui called with a very panicked tone, oh shit, young Master Su, help me.